Budgeting is a key tool that organizations use to plan and allocate resources effectively. Many companies often rely on incremental budgeting, which adjusts the previous year's budget for inflation or growth, but this method can result in inefficiencies and unnecessary spending. To address these issues, zero-based budgeting, or ZBB, was developed in the 1970s. This approach requires managers to justify every expense from scratch, rather than assuming past spending levels should continue. It means starting from zero and carefully evaluating each activity and expense based on current needs and priorities. Unlike incremental budgeting, which focuses on small changes to the existing budget, ZBB encourages a fresh, more analytical review of all costs, helping businesses use their resources more wisely and avoid waste. In this presentation, we'll cover what ZBB is, how it works, its benefits and challenges, and look at real examples to understand its overall effectiveness. Zero-based budgeting means starting every budget cycle from zero, rather than simply adjusting previous budgets. This approach breaks down activities into decision packages, which are evaluated based on their value and how they contribute to business goals. It challenges all costs instead of accepting them as given, which helps maintain a strong focus on efficiency and accountability. Practically, this method helps improve cost control by pushing managers to scrutinize every expense, revealing unnecessary activities, duplicate resources, and inefficient processes, which reduces waste and lowers costs. It also improves resource allocation by directing funds toward priorities with the highest strategic importance and expected returns, avoiding the pitfalls of spreading budgets evenly regardless of value. Finally, zero-based budgeting increases managerial accountability because managers have to justify their budgets, encouraging more thoughtful decisions, greater ownership of spending, and stronger financial discipline. This approach encourages accountability, which can lead to better overall performance within the organization. Zero-based budgeting helps businesses align their budgets closely with their current strategic goals, which is especially useful during times of rapid growth, restructuring, mergers and acquisitions, or economic downturns. By doing this, expenses that don't support the strategy are more likely to be cut. The implementation process starts with dividing the organization into decision units like departments or projects, each of which identifies its own activities. Next, decision packages are created, which describe each activity in detail, including its purpose, cost, benefits, and what happens if it's not funded. Sometimes, different spending levels are considered. Finally, these packages are evaluated and ranked based on how cost-effective they are, their strategic importance, and how much they contribute to overall objectives. This structured process ensures resources are allocated where they can have the greatest impact. Resources are allocated starting with the highest priority activities, ensuring the most important decision packages get funded first until the budget is fully allocated. After this, it's essential to review and monitor performance by comparing actual costs and results against the approved budget to maintain accountability and control. This approach has been successfully applied across different types of organizations. For example, large corporations like Unilever and Kraft Heinz have used zero-based budgeting to reassess spending from scratch, which helped them reduce overheads and improve profit margins. In the public sector, government departments apply this method during times of fiscal pressure to prioritize essential services and modernize spending. Small and medium-sized enterprises often use it when growing or facing financial challenges, focusing resources on activities that drive revenue and growth. Additionally, companies undergoing restructuring utilize zero-based budgeting to eliminate outdated practices and realign their operations with new goals. This systematic approach helps organizations control costs while staying aligned with their priorities. Zero-based budgeting has several advantages. It helps eliminate wasteful spending by challenging every cost, which makes it easier to spot inefficiencies. It also encourages innovation, as managers look for cheaper alternatives, more efficient processes, and new ways to meet goals. Another benefit is that it enhances strategic focus by linking funding to priority activities, which supports better long-term outcomes. It improves transparency because all expenditures need clear justification, increasing financial visibility and control. Additionally, it is useful during downsizing, recessions, or restructuring by supporting targeted cost reductions. On the downside, zero-based budgeting is time-consuming and resource-intensive since preparing decision packages requires significant managerial effort, detailed analysis, and strong financial data. This process can be costly and demanding. Furthermore, there can be resistance from managers, which can create challenges in implementation. Managers might see zero-based budgeting as threatening, bureaucratic, or even demotivating, and this resistance can hurt how well it works if it's not handled carefully. One downside is that zero-based budgeting tends to focus on short-term cost savings, which might mean cutting back on important long-term investments like training, research and development, or brand building. It also isn't the best fit for every organization. Those with very stable or routine operations might not see much benefit from doing a zero-based review every year. Another challenge is that some activities, like developing people or maintaining customer relationships, are tough to measure in straightforward numbers, so justifying their costs can be tricky. When we compare zero-based budgeting to incremental budgeting, the key difference is that zero-based budgeting starts from zero every period and requires full justification of all costs, while incremental budgeting builds on the previous year's budget with adjustments. Zero-based budgeting offers stronger cost control and better alignment with strategic goals but tends to be more complex, whereas incremental budgeting is simpler but often less focused on strategic priorities. Zero-based budgeting is a method that encourages careful control of costs, alignment with strategic goals, and effective use of resources by requiring justification for every expense from the start. This approach helps organizations cut out waste and prioritize spending on activities that truly add value. However, its success depends a lot on the company's culture, commitment from management, and having accurate data available. While it can take a lot of time and effort, especially in larger organizations, the payoff comes in stronger accountability and better cost management. ZBB works best when applied thoughtfully and selectively, particularly during times of financial strain or change. When combined with long-term planning, it provides a solid framework for making smarter financial decisions in a competitive business environment.